Hey guys, it's Hugh Hendry, the acid capitalist, coming to you from the wonderful French Caribbean island of St. Bart's. And I would really love it if you're appreciating the show, if you could spread a little bit of love, if you could rate the performance with some of those star buttons, or even leave a comment. Or maybe you could follow me on Twitter or X at Hendry_Hugh. Or dive into Instagram. Am I really asking you this? Hugh Hendry Official. I've been stuck just under 100,000 on Twitter and just under 10,000. I think I'm 10 people short on Instagram for what seems an age. The gods laughing at the ridiculous postures that I adopt. Or better still, come on over to my side of the street. Subscribe to Patreon or Substack, The Acid Capitalist or The Hugh Hendry Show, and have me at your mercy, receiving my economic essays, my letters from St. Bart's, my investment reports from my old hedge fund days, and exclusive premieres of my videos. Would love to see you all. And today I've gone all William Jennings Bryan. To some, Jennings Bryan is history's great loser. He ran on a populist mandate for the US presidency 3 times. 1896, 1900, and 1908. And despite it being a good time to be a populist, to stick it to the man, so to speak, he lost every time. He's depicted in The Wizard of Oz as the lion with no roar. A great orator for sure, but one that was powerless to the onslaught of big money, the wicked witches of the East, the Wall Street banks who really controlled the power in Washington. And in fact, I'm going to start by freebasing on one of his most famous lines. We will answer their demand for higher stock prices by saying to them, you shall not press down upon the brow of labour this crown of thorns. You shall not crucify mankind upon a cross of perpetual Chinese trade surpluses. Mic drop time. Now here's the thing about prosperity. It breeds toleration. You get fat and sloppy happy, and suddenly incompetence isn't just tolerated. No, it's institutionalized. But here's the kicker. Prosperity isn't evenly spread. Today, yesterday, and I guess tomorrow, you've got these immense clusters of the ultra prosperous. Today, I don't know, 25% of the US population, probably less, but they're deliriously rich and they're getting richer. And everyone else, well, they're left clutching at straws with no share in the prosperity pie. Why? Because China, sorry, where did China come from? But China pumps out trade surpluses every year. We send them our dollars and they send us cheap tat to buy on Amazon for our delirium, for the tedium of today. These dollars, they've got no need for them in the land of red cabbage. And so they buy US government bonds. Why? Because really they don't want their currency to appreciate. I call that cheating. But deeper down in the psychology of a totalitarian state, really, they don't want their people to get rich and agitate for the freedoms that you and I take for granted. Much better, they believe, to have serfdom. You know, it's like frogs in a jacuzzi. You know, the one frog turns around to the other and says, hey, the water's nice in here. And then it's like, hey, hold on. And then lights out. You know the setup. Chinese want a cheap currency. And they keep the locals happy slappy in that jacuzzi by keeping them engaged, keeping them at work, producing in those huge factories, serving the rest of the world. Now, those greenbacks, those dollars that they send right back to us, well, those dollars pass through the euro-dollar system. You might never have heard of this. It's a matrix-like dark network. It's a syndicate of international banks that lend to each other. I'm not making this up. Have you ever wondered where the money came from to support rising stock prices? Well, it starts here, offshore, unregulated, and largely ignored. And this money printing, geez, it runs rampant. But it's not funding productivity. There are no new factories, no physical investment, no new high-paying jobs in your town. No, it's all about making speculative bets. Money goes to where it can expand. But it's transformed us from great entrepreneurial nations to a speculative cabal, with everyone bragging about their house price, their stock portfolio, or their Bitcoin gold. But here's the thing. This asset inflation is fed from the deflation of the global pool of labor. The rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer kind of thing. And of course, that's changed our politics. The protectionism of Trump and even Biden, the Brexit, the French. Oh my God, it's always the French. Have you seen their sovereign balance sheet? They have got so much debt. And of course, now we've got the disintegration of Germany's political stability. These aren't random events. Remember what I was talking about the other day? Complex systems. This is synchronicity. Neon signs flashing. No prosperity for the many. The crux came with the COVID inflation surge. That was simply intolerable for the downtrodden majority. And so the voters who know Trump is, well, Trump, they still say, give me anyone but you, to their grey politicians. Because they can see through the facade. They know the politicians can't even speak unscripted. They can't riff on a Joe Rogan podcast, for Christ's sake. And they can't break out of the status quo. The stench of their mediocrity is damning. But let's zoom out. Like I said, money runs Washington. It was written in the book. It always has, always will. And Wall Street loves the status quo. Look at the S&P 500. It's the principal stock market of the world, and it's gone up 60 That's 60 times over the last 40 years from the start of the 1980s. And guess what? It coincides with the rise of China. And Wall Street says, yeah, bring it on, baby. And so today the true power no longer resides with the people, but with those witches. I'm not going to call them evil, but I am going to say they are residing on the East Coast. And they're casting their spell over the rest of us. And guess what? They're not voting for the prosperity of the many. Nope. They're voting for the inflation of their book. So let's pull back the curtain and reveal the charade for what it is today. We've got a phantom regulator sitting idly by whilst an $80 billion Ponzi scheme rips through the very heart of the damned S&P. They've got this stock micro-strategy. Ever heard of this guy, Michael Saylor? The illusion of great, fantastic gains. MicroStrategy is the number one performer in the 500 year to date. Calls itself a humble software company. But behind the veil, what do we find? Let me tell you, we find a colossus engaged in financial sleight of hand, leveraging borrowed fortunes to buy more and more Bitcoin, playing a game of high-stakes financial disarbitrage. Now, you know what a Ponzi scheme is, right? It's an investment scheme where returns to early investors are paid using the capital from new investors rather than any profit earned by the damn company. This is not prosperity, my friends. It's a counterfeit coin. It enriches the fleet of foot, the financial elite who know how to game the system and exit early. But what of the regular Joe, the last buyer, who dares to believe in the promise of a rising stock price? That sucker, he's left holding the bag, facing obliteration when the music stops. They call it caveat emptor, buyer beware. But for the honest family striving to save, the neighbour hoping to build a better future, come on, give me a break. This toxic charade doesn't just rob wallets, it breeds resentment, envy and despair. It's bad. Now, the onus should be on us to demand a system that works, not for the cunning few, but for the many who build, toil and strive. But it's just not happening. I gave up on this a long time ago. I shipped myself off to, if you will, a gated community on a French paradise island. But the real tragedy, intellectual tragedy perhaps, but no one's talking about putting a tariff on the flow of capital. Tariffs on trade, yeah, sure. But that's posturing. Imagine if we taxed capital inflows from countries like China. Now, instead of protecting the wealth of the few, you'd fix the problems of the many. Keynes had it about right. Close the capital account. Protect trade. Trade makes you rich. Except no one dares challenge the status quo. And this exorbitant privilege that the US enjoys, that you read about in the financial press, the privilege of printing dollars to pay off their debts, that, my friends, is a privilege for the few. But it's really an exorbitant expense for the many. It's a slow bleed. But maybe the system will implode when the market collapses from the weight of its own hypocrisy. Until then, we're going to live in this grotesque Disneyland of rotating incompetence, replacing one set of idiots with another. Now me, I love a bit of paradox. It's the heartbeat of the market. The universe's inside joke. And here's the thing. The future of even higher asset prices, of Ponzi schemes that no one really cares to rebuke, that system is tied irrevocably to just one thing. The Chinese trade surplus. I know, left field, enemy. Stay with me, people. The Chinese trade surplus is a monster. It's a behemoth. It churns out over 1% of global GDP every year. I call it robbing your neighbor. But here's the rub. Consistent. It's gone on forever. But monsters, they don't plateau. They grow or they die. And if this surplus can't keep growing, then the entire financial system will begin to shudder. And let me tell you something. I see things out here on the perpendicular. I see giant neon lights flashing danger. You've got the impending extinction of the European car industry and the rise of global protectionism. So maybe all systems are designed to self-destruct. Because without that relentless flow of trade dollars, the money printer, and the very energy source that fuels ever higher stock prices, that force begins to fade. And when the energy dissipates, prices lose their propulsion. No more heavenly ascent for the lucky few. So here's the irony. Wall Street, in clinging desperately to this unsustainable status quo, may have inadvertently voted for its own extinction. The echoes of 1929 ring loudly in my ears. A time when the euphoria of excess gave way to the cold reckoning of collapse. Because when the colossal American trade surplus couldn't grow no more to feed the monster of the Dow Jones, well, my friends, William Jennings Bryan, that guy was just early. So I leave you with this. The madhouse may beckon. We may continue to ride these waves for a time, but the tide has a habit of turning when you least expect it, and that time may well be fast approaching. Heavens! I mean, is it just me or was that intense? But my dear, dear friends, it's now time to uncoil the tension. It's time for you and me to kick back and relax a little. So as I always say, I really hope it's late. I hope it's dark with you. And I really hope you're still listening. Be lonely if you're not. But with all this macro tension, we need to calm that magic carpet of your mind. We need to send this grey matter to sleep. Let me help you. I hope you're sat comfortably. They say it's important that your back is straight and upright. I don't know. Normally, I just lie in bed. I'm not trying to force anything. My eyes, they say your eyes should be open. But my eyes are wide shut. And I'm taking some deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. So I hope your chest is expanding. And as the breath passes through your mouth, the muscles soften. The stress is being released. And with the next exhalation, let's just allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. And if your eyes are open, please close your eyes. Come on, I dare you. And here's the cool thing. Can you feel the weight of your body pressing down? Can you feel the gravity? The energy that's always there, but we're simply not conscious of it? I want you to relax. I'm sure you can hear sounds. Let them pass. Let them go. Don't pay attention to them. Notice them by all means, but let them pass. And as your attention returns to your complex body, notice how are you sad? Or are you lying there happy? How does your body feel right now? Tired? Or do you have a sensation of lightness? The Unbearable Lightness of Beings, a great book by Milan Kundera. If you're like me, you've probably got some restlessness in the body, some twitches, pangs. But without trying to change anything, just be curious. And let's do, it sounds like a science fiction movie, but let's do the body scanner. Starting at the top of your head and moving down through your body, searching out your feet with that curiosity to discover how your body feels right now. And now let's shift that attention back to the wonders of our breath and its movement. A movement, a Swiss clock, is always there in our body. Just where do you feel these undulations, these rising peaks and troughs of the breath within you? We're searching the sea of tranquility. I promise you, it's close. Can you feel it? Some form of rhythm? Where is your breath? Is it irregular? I certainly hope not. Is it short, shallow, or is it deep and profound? At this moment, only you can tell the secrets of your eternal echo chamber. And now, pursuing this infinite journey of the breath, I just call upon you to stay focused on the breathing. Have you got, I can hear it, I can hear thoughts invading your mind. That's cool. Just let them go. Focus on the breath. Focus on the breath. Still, allow those thoughts, those invaders, let them come, let them go. But gently, my friends. Just bring ever so slowly your attention back to the breath. In and out. Don't force it. Just let it be. Noise is everywhere. But where are you? Well, let it go. Now, no more focusing on the breath. It's getting boring. Let that attention go as well. Let it all hang out. Go on, let your mind run riot. Let it focus on anything. Okay, my friends, come on, wait it in. Let's bring it back. Attention. The body. Where's your body? Again, feel the majesty of the weight of your body pressing down. Your hands, your legs, your arms. Come on, people. Let's wake up. Let's be aware of the space, the sounds, the smells. Do you feel the sensations? A new beginning, a stirring? I don't know. But if you're ready, I beseech you to open your eyes. You have officially completed an asset capitalist magic carpet ride. Your grey matter is ready for the challenges that await. Be curious, be playful, be mischievous. Until the next time, the asset capitalist bids you goodbye.